Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode we're chatting with Iván Escalante, director of Gnomosapiens, an indie studio for board game development and illustration. Their new game, Backyard of Fruta Baja, is currently on Kickstarter. Iván, welcome to the binge. How you doing, my friend?
Thanks. It's I'm gonna say sorry for my crappy English because it's not perfect yet. But I do my best.
Hey, no problem. We'll get through it. I'm sure if there's any clarifications I need, I'll be more than happy to speak up. I'm not shy. So,
For sure.
so Iván, so you're joining us from Mexico right now. Whereabouts in Mexico are you joining us from?
Well, which city of Mexico you asked?
You're in Mexico, yes?
Yes, we live in Mexico. Actually, all the members of Gnomosapiens are in Mexico, in Mérida, Yucatan, the Mayan Riviera, very close to the Mayan Riviera.
Okay, okay.
Actually, we've been living. We're actually working here 3 years ago, like 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we are technically pretty new, and we are pretty small. Actually, we are like 6 members here in the studio.
Nice.
And we work for a very low budget.
So I'm gonna ask you this next question. I was wondering if you can just pull the microphone a little bit closer to your face, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So how long have you been gaming? Like, how long have you been like in the game industry yourself? Like, just even recreationally gaming or gaming with friends? Is this something you've been doing your whole life? Or?
Oh no. Actually, I've been this is a pretty common question. I've been drawing comics and being a digital artist for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Like 15 years drawing comics and publishing comics and books for kids. And also I was a digital artist teacher in a university here. So I was teaching teenagers to draw in the computer.
Yeah.
And I had the idea of this board game, the Necronomi Corp, the first board game we made 4 years ago. Well, actually 5 years ago. The creation of the game took 1 year, 1 whole year. And I always loved board games. I had board games before having this idea. I am a huge Magic the Gathering fanatic. I've been playing Magic the Gathering since I am teenagers, like 22 years ago. And when I had this idea of Necronomi Corp, I took some money I had in my savings and started this idea. I left teaching in 2 or 3 schools I was teaching digital art. And I expended many time and many resources from my savings trying to create this board game. Actually, it was pretty hard because we are totally naive here. In Mexico, board game studios are totally new, and there is not enough knowledge about the market, the Kickstarter, and everything. And we was also naive in that time, and I lost a lot of money. Not only my savings, I lost money from the campaign because we got stolen, we got scammed, we got accidents, we got many things went wrong for many bad people.
Yeah, so this game that you're creating, I'm just going to clarify for people, it's called Necronomi Corp. This is a game. This is your first campaign, right, on Kickstarter. So were you trying to take that game straight to retail then? Before Kickstarter, were you trying to just make this game locally, or what happened?
We try it, but only some copies in Spanish.
Yeah.
went to Mexico and Latin America thanks to Devir. Devir is a publisher, a board game publisher, pretty international board game publisher.
Yep.
And Necronomicorp was distributed on, went to the retailers thanks to them, with just some few copies because we got stolen some pallets. Some copies of the game, many copies of the game was stolen in the aduana in English, aduana, taxes, customs.
Oh, and the customs. So I hit customs and they start stealing your games. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Two pallets of game copies was stolen in customs. It was pretty hard. Lost. As I told you, we lost a lot of money.
Were you making these in China, or where were they being manufactured?
Yes, everything is produced in China because it's incredibly cheaper.
Yeah.
It's incredibly cheaper, faster, and the quality is good. Even we got a crappy or manufacturer the first time in Necronomi Corp. The production was pretty good in the most copies of the game, but we changed manufacturer for the second games, for card game, and War for Chicken Island and other games. We got another manufacturer. It's called the name of the game.
Like Panda Games or one of these guys, or
I forgot the name of our manufacturer and I feel so bad for it.
So the other two games, so it's the card game. So the game is called the card game. So that was successful.
The card game. It was our second campaign.
Yeah.
But it's my third game. It's my third game because my second game was War for Chicken Island, which was produced and published by Dracostudios, another studio in Mexico.
So just for people listening and to give an idea of Chicken Island, so War for Chicken Island by Dracostudios did $160,000 on Kickstarter. It was a huge success, a really fun game. Actually, maybe I'll even just show for people watching right now live, show you some of the artwork. I'm scrolling my screen here so people can see it, but it's got this kind of like steampunk feel to the artwork. And when you see the minis with the chicken holding the staff, it's pretty funny. So I can see why a game like this would do so well on Kickstarter. So your studio did the artwork for War for Chicken Island, and in addition to that, you also designed the game. Is that correct?
Yes. For War for Chicken Island, I created the core game, the rules, the core rules, and the entire world. The art was provided mostly by me and my studio, because I have a graphic designer who made the logo, the logotype, the title, and the grids, on the board. It's not my art. And I can't take all the credit for the art, but I can take most credit for the art. Also, but the idea, the rules, the first edition of the rules was written by me, but when Dracostudios bought the game, they changed it and edited and updated and changed so many rules because they felt the game was pretty. I don't know what exactly they did, but when we got our first copy, provided by them, it was pretty weird. Some changes they did, but we played it like in the original rule it we had in the studio.
So this is fairly standard, right? So when a publisher takes a game, right? When they sign, they have the. I mean, I do the same thing as a publisher myself. If I sign a game, I will be explicit that I have the right to change that game any way I want to. And it's not necessarily that a publisher necessarily thinks that, that they can create a better game per se, but they've got the experience of doing multiple games. They know certain things that might play better to their audience. They may know certain things they need to change to make it less costly to make the game. So maybe taking components out or taking elements out and so forth. So, publishers, there's never an ill intent. Often these changes that they put forward are in the vein of trying to make the best possible success for that game possible. So,
but that's pretty common in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
If you see a movie, probably, if you don't like a movie, probably you will blame the director. But you can't blame the director. You can't blame the writer or probably the producers, because the producers change many things because they don't like it or they think people won't like it. So that's why the Snyder Cuts exist, because Snyder had a different idea of what producers want. So when in entertainment industry, it happens all the time, even with board games. Probably the producer says people won't like it, but the creator says, "Would I like it?" A publisher said, "No, let's change it." Like King Domino and Queen Domino. Do you know about the history about those games?
Actually, no.
Okay, King Domino and Queen Domino was technically the first, the same game. But the publisher changed it. The author created King Domino, but the publisher changed it, so they changed the name to Queen Domino, and it was so good that they decided to publish King Domino, and that's the reason why both versions exist, King Domino and Queen Domino, and both are totally different, but one is the publisher's edition and the other is the original edition from the author. So it happens all the time, even in board games.
So Dodos Riding with Dinos is another game that Dracostudios published. That one did a $250,000 on Kickstarter. Again, huge success.
Yes, but we are only the art providers.
So you did the artwork for that, but not the game design.
Only artwork. Character design and art for the cards. And art for the miniatures, but not the 3D modeling on neither the maps, on neither the logotype.
Got it.
Just the art and character design.
And again, I think that's kind of typical too, right? So publishers, when they're, or even in this case, I'd say developers, when people are developing a game to go to market, often you'll have the core artwork, which is done by an illustrator. And then usually you have to get a graphic artist. They'll help with layout and things like that. Maybe doing the basic board setup, card layout, things like that. If you get lucky, sometimes you might have a company that can do both. But in many cases, those are separate roles, right? So that's pretty cool. And then, so talk to me about Gnomosapien. Where did this name come from? How did you guys come up with Gnomosapien?
Okay, well, that's a very fun story, because we wanted to name the studio Mulligan, because Mulligan is a word who means a second chance.
Like a mulligan. Got it. Okay, yeah.
Like a mulligan, because you have bad luck. It's a real word in the dictionary. It's a second chance when you have bad luck in your first try. We wanted to call the studio Mulligan, but the name was taken in Mexico for a toy store. So we chosen, we made a brainstorming from names. Suddenly somebody say, Gnomos, working gnomes, not working gnomes, no, gnomes, it's not, Gnomosapiens.
Yep.
Sounds good, yeah, take it. It's because it's gnomes, the elves, you know.
Yeah, I got the gnomes, yeah. So was gnomes, what's the significance of a gnome to you? Is this like imagery or iconography you've had, or is it just random words you stuck together?
Just because sounds funny. The second option for the name studio was sandwich bag.
Yeah.
Because all board games has this tiny cycle of bags, you know, these tiny plastic bags. So the idea of the studio, the second option was sandwich box studio, because sounds funny, just
sandwich box.
Funny.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what came first then? So did the studio come first? And I was just showing the screen for people that are watching again. I mean, the artwork out of your studio is phenomenal, right? Like,
thank you.
Anybody that wants to check this out, go to Gnomosapiens. So you type the word gnome, right? So Gnomosapiens.com. I'll put a link in the show notes. But the artwork is pretty impressive across various genres, right? Was the kind of the graphic novel, the comic, did that kind of come first as a studio and then you guys got into board games, or they kind of happened at the same time, or how did that come together?
Well, when I wanted to create a Necronomicorp, I had the clear idea of what I want with the board game. The characters, the mechanics, everything of the board game was clear in my head. Mm-hmm. But to get a money support from government,
financial support,
yes, to gain a money support from the government, we had to build a legal studio, a legal corporation. So I had to take a name and be a legal studio and pay taxes for everything.
Sure.
And I got a small support from the government, and everything went just like that.
Got it. And then, so let's talk a little bit about backyard of Fruta Baja. So start off with the name, Fruta Baja. Is that like a district somewhere in?
Well, it's because it's pretty deep, the name. The name is, believe it or not, the name is pretty deep. Can you see the cat? There is a cat over there.
Is there a cat over there?
Okay. The name of Fruta Baja is pretty deep because it's a term used by business people taking the low-hanging fruit. Taking the low-hanging fruit means for a business people taking a low-risk opportunity to earn money. So low-hanging fruit means fruta que cuelga abajo o fruta que está abajo. Fruta baja, low fruit, low-hanging fruit.
So low-hanging fruit is what translates into loosely then.
Yes. A low-hanging fruit opportunity is a big deal for earning money easily.
Sure.
So it's a term used for business people.
Yeah.
So the name was Fruta Baja because we made a research for the names of Eurogames.
Yeah.
And many of the Eurogames are formed by three words: castles of Burgundy, settlers of Carans. So backyard of Fruta Baja. You know, architects of paladins of Northwest. Architects of Northwest. You might pick an euro.
Yeah.
Pick an euro and add three words for the name usually.
So talk to us about this game. So I'm sharing the screen on for people again watching us live. I love the artwork. The artwork is awesome.
Are you gonna share something or do you?
Well, it's on my screen right now. You can't see it, but the audience can see it right now. They can see your Kickstarter page.
Okay. The idea came many years ago. It was like 3 years ago. We created this game to teach kids about business and some situation for the new young business people.
Entrepreneurs. Yeah, for young entrepreneurs. Yep.
Entrepreneurs. Okay. So the game was created to teach young people and kids about these terms, about situations, about common things people experience when it's entrepreneur. But the game was so simple. The game was so easy. So it needed more complexity.
Yeah.
So over the years, we took the game with more skills, with more probability control, with more cards, with objectives, with things. We polished the game. The game grown. The game grown well good, and it's a good game. It's not a hard Euro game. It's an easy Euro game. It's a familiar game. It's a game you can play with your daughter or with your son.
It's like a casual board game, right?
Yes, it's a casual board game. But the most important thing is the probability control mechanic, because some people may likes to compare the game with Settlers of Catan, because you produce with 2 dice. But in Settlers of Catan, you roll the dice every turn. But in this game, the dice are in a row, and you see which number will roll in the next turn. But you can pay to change the probability, to override the number or downgrade the number in the next turns. So, and you only can pay for that with your with clover tokens. And clover tokens only are earned when somebody else produces money. So when somebody else gets richer, you get luckier. So when you get luckier, you might change your luck to get more money. But when you get more money, some other people get luckier. So that's how the game works.
So I'm going to kind of paraphrase that, because there's a really great review from Gaming with Edo from Pencil First Games. He did a review of this. He actually loved the kind of quirkiness of the characters. I agree. I thought it was great.
The quirkiness of the characters.
Essentially, you have these tiles, which are terrain tiles. You shuffle them up, you deal them out. It's a 4x6 grid, right? That becomes your board, right? So each of those tiles now is a square on the board. So your board is always changing every time you play, which is really cool. You're buying land, right? So you have the ability to buy land. Each of those squares represents a lot that you can buy. You can build businesses on those lots, right? And then those businesses can earn money or money, I guess, or currency in this case. You also have this character called the Blorto. Can you explain what the Blorto is? And what does that translate as, Blorto?
Okay, the name of the Blorto was given by a kid.
Okay.
A 10 years old kid said, this monster has a name of Blordo, with 3 R's. Blordo, with 3 R's. So it's a Blordo.
Yeah.
Blordo. And the idea of putting a monster inside the game, because you feel the pressure of being wasted, being spoiled by some forces of nature outside your control.
Right.
And also forces people to work together, even if there is only a winner. Only one winner, but people must work together. So I can change my luck and use my luck to change the number, making you produce to clean your business.
So
to keep clean the backyard.
I thought that was kind of cool. So, and again, sharing the screen for people to see this this Blorto character. He kind of looks like a booger with eyeballs, which is kind of funny. But it's
I don't know exactly what it's made of. I don't know if is this fur or this just dirt or is fungus.
So essentially, in this game, he's dropping dirt on different tiles, right? So as he's on these different lots, you can drop dirt in other people's businesses. Of course, businesses always function better when they're clean, right? People want to buy from a business when they're clean versus dirty. And essentially, the winning conditions of this game, I guess, is if you can reach $20 in currency and all your businesses are clean, I guess you can win the game that way.
The easy mode. Yes, yeah. The easy mode is a money rush when people need to pay 20 monies. Yeah. It's money, not money, monies. It's actual currency.
Yeah.
Card game also uses monies.
Yeah.
Okay. If somebody pays 20 monies and all their business are clean, that player wins the game. But that's the easy mode. The expert mode, people has life goals. Life goals are cards with plans in your life, like being a great master chef, being incredible in business, have your own monopoly of entertainment.
Sure.
So cards needs to accomplish, because if you want to be a great master chef, you need to have a restaurant, a bar, and a coffee shop all together in one line. So these are early
victory conditions, right? So they're cards that basically have an early victory condition on it.
Yes.
And then I also saw that if all the dirt is spread across the board from this Blorto, that also triggers the end of the game. And based on most victory points would be how you declare the winner, I guess. Yeah.
Actually, if the Blorto settles all the dirt tokens, there is no winner. There is no winner. All players lose. There's no winner.
Got it.
So even only one player can lose. Only one player can win.
Yeah.
All players can lose. So players are forced to play together. Even only one can win.
Got it. What I think is really cool is that you guys are offering a mini, right? So the Blorto actually, for backers only, can get the actual the mini of the Blorto, which I think is awesome. So
all the miniatures are shipped in a separate side box. You have your core game box and a second box with all your miniatures. There is five miniatures, 5 different miniatures: the Blordo, the Sharknado, the Hobo, the Trump, and the hot dog card food. And there is another one, the freaking customer, the client.
So with these, when they ship them, will they fit into the original box? So they're shipped separately, but can you then add them to your box or no?
No, I feel pretty bad when I buy a board game and open it and find some extra space of air.
Yeah.
That I can't fill with more air because I don't have the extras from Kickstarter. I feel pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty uncomfortable for regular people and retailer to purchase a game with a lot of air inside the box just for backers. I think it's not fair. I think it's not fair and it's not good, and also makes the shippings more expensive because the box is bigger.
Sure.
And also you have another box outside.
How big is this box? Because your board is literally tiles, right? So I mean, when you play it when you see it spread out on the table, when Gaming with Edo did this, it took up a lot of space. But does it pack up very small? It must pack up small, does it?
No, because since the game's made of mostly tiles.
Yeah.
You need a lot of punch boards. Punch board
So you got the punch
needs to
boards
be
there.
inside the box. You we can sell the game punched. We can sell the game already punched, but it will make the production expensive.
Yeah.
It will cost more.
Yeah.
If we give you a game already punched, so the box needs to be a bit bigger just because the all the cardboards needs to be punched. But it's not. It's like have you played I have the measurements of the box right here.
It's okay. It's just kind of getting a general idea, but I guess in this case, you got the punch board. So then
Yeah,
once you punch it out, it fits
it's
in
a
the
big
box.
box.
So
it's not a huge box. It's a big box,
yeah.
Like this.
Got it. And so when I look at your campaign, so you've got this is your 5th campaign, 3 games. So when you did the card game, it took 2 attempts to get there, and
Yes.
with this is your second attempt on Fruta Baja.
Yes.
So you're clearly not afraid to pull a campaign if it's not working. What are some of the learnings you've had along the way? Like, what are some things that you're doing now differently than maybe you did a couple years ago when you first started off?
We learned a lot from failure more than success.
Sure. Yeah.
Surely. For card game, in the second chance, we lowered a bit the budget, just a bit, changing some components instead of having a premium edition and regular edition, because card game was supposed to have a totally foiled edition, totally foiled. We have to sacrifice some luxury, some nice components, just to load the budget. Also, many people was ready to back card game in the first time, and when they was waiting for the second chance, they immediately backed the game. So when normal or regular or new backers got into the campaign, so in the first day the game was already back.
Sure.
So that was the ¿cómo digo rebaño?
So you've been carrying over your backers basically. So you take your backers from the first round and you bring them to the next one.
If a backer see a campaign already funded, they fund it because it's going to be funded.
Sure.
It's close to the success.
Yeah.
And mostly in the first 2 days. You need 2 days to already fund a game, to already achieve the goals. If you don't achieve it in 2 days, probably you won't make it never. So when we made the second chance of card game, many backers from the previous campaign backed in the first minutes. So this cement the game or make it the game look like awesome, because it's an awesome game. Really, it's an awesome game. Really, it's an awesome game. And that was very helpful for the second chance. For Backyard Fruta Baja, we changed many things. We lowered the budget a bit, changing some components to a cheaper material or cheaper version. Also, we spent a lot of marketing, buying ads from Facebook, Instagram. We're spending ads. Also, we don't have the support from other professional marketing like Yellow or BackerKit or those companies who are
the social media amplifiers.
Yes, social media amplifiers. So well, we don't have that support, and I asked for it, but we was kicked because just like that.
Yeah.
Even in the card game, the first reason BackerKit says no, it states because card games are not popular. That was the reason BackerKit says no. Yellow.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with that. I think the guys at Doomlings would probably disagree with that too, because they did hundreds of thousands of dollars in their card games. So it's I think it just depends on the timing and the type of game, but certainly it seems like you guys have got a lot of passion around your games. If people want to, so if publishers, for instance, want to reach out to you and take advantage of some of the skill set at Gnomosapiens, how best do they do that?
What?
Like a publisher. So if a publisher wants to contract you guys to do the artwork for their game, how would they reach out to your studio?
There are many ways to reach to us. One is the most popular is just by email. contacto@gnomosapiens.com.
Okay.
Also from ArtStation is our official art page, social media. ArtStation, we have our portfolio. From Facebook, you can send us a direct message, or from Instagram, you can send us a direct message, and I will reply, or one of my people will reply as soon as we can. Not all the messages are replied by me. I have somebody writing in social media or trying. And we love to create art for board games. We feel pretty comfortable doing art for board games.
Yeah.
We made some miniatures from other people in other games.
Yep.
And Dracostudios love our art. But we are not only artists for board game artists. We do art for books for kids, for comics, for
books, comics. If somebody needs like a graphic novel, it looks like you guys really take care of the whole art side quite robustly, which I think is absolutely awesome. So your game is called Backyard of Fruta Baja. Again, it's got some great reviews from some great content creators out there. I'm going to put a link to that in our show notes so that anybody who wants to get to that Kickstarter page fast, they can. I encourage you to check the game out. It looks like a lot of fun. Ivan, I want to thank you so much for coming on this podcast. It's been a blast. It goes by quick, but it was cool learning about your company and your studio and the things you guys are doing. I want to wish you all the best with this upcoming Kickstarter campaign.
Thank you. Also, people is invited to follow us on social media for future projects, not only for Backyard of Fruta Baja.
For sure. Alrighty, take care. Cheers. This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply join the Facebook group Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.